In this station, we're going to be talking about informational text structures. This should be a review for you because at Inquiry Night, we spent a lot of time talking about these 5 text structures. Remember, authors use different text structures depending on what their purpose or goal is. Take notes as I explain the 5 text structures. You should have this paper in front of you. The first one we're going to write about is called compare and contrast. The author's purpose or goal is to show what is similar and different about 2 topics, what's the same and different. Usually when you take notes, you might use something called a Venn diagram, so you can draw that on your paper. Here are some transition words that you might see that will help you know that what you're reading is compare and contrast. Similarity, in common. However, in contrast, on the other hand. Make sure you filled out this whole roll of your graphic organizer. Next up, cause and effect. The author's purpose or goal could be to explain the causes of an event, so what made something happen, or to explain the effects of an event, what happened after something happened. Transition words that give you a clue are one reason or one need, thus, as a result, consequently, or one impact. Next, we have problem and solution. The author's purpose or goal is to explain solutions to a problem, or how to fix something and make it better. Sometimes your graphic organizer will look like this: problem, and then the solution. Sometimes you might have many solutions, so you'll see like problem, solution, solution, solution. Some key words that you'll see that give you a clue you're reading problem, solution. Problem, issue. They're synonyms, they mean the same thing. Solution, leads to or results in. Last but not least, we have description. The author's purpose or goal is to give background information about a topic or to give a general overview of a topic. One kind of graphic organizer you'll see is a bubble, where you write the topic and then information about the topic. Some transition words that you'll see are for example, for instance, characteristics include, or in addition. To be honest with you, description text structure is the hardest one to locate, to figure out based on transition words. If you're reading a text and you're confused and it's just giving you general background information, it's probably description. Sorry, I was kidding. There's one more. Chronological, or sometimes you'll hear it called sequential. The author's purpose or goal is to tell the history of a topic, what happened first, then, next, or to explain a process, first, second, third, or how to do something. Some transition words you'll see are first, after that, next, finally, or in, and then the year. Notice that chronological is really similar to narrative. The main difference is that narrative can be made up, but in informational text, chronological is always about something that really happened. Now that you've finished your notes, you've got an assignment. In front of you, you have several paragraphs, and you need to read each paragraph and decide what kind of text structure it is. We'll do the first one together. Macaws are the largest parrots in the world, and their bodies from beak to tail can be as long as 33 inches. One key characteristic of a macaw is their vibrant plumage, or feathers. For instance, the scarlet macaw, pictured to the left, has bright red, yellow, blue, and green feathers. The macaw can be found throughout Central and South America, and they prefer to spend their time in tall forests near rivers. For example, the scarlet macaw likes to build its nest inside palm trees. Another defining characteristic of the macaw is its strong beak. Macaws can break hard nuts found in the rainforest. Nuts, leaves, berries, and seeds from the rainforest make up the bulk of the macaw's diet. There are 17 different species of macaws alive today. However, several of these macaws, including the blue-throated macaw and scarlet macaw, are endangered. Source: the Rainforest Alliance. The first thing you need to do is go through and underline the transition words. So I would underline one characteristic of. I would also underline, for example. Another defining characteristic of, and I think that's it. Notice this word, however, here is kind of tricky because it is a transition word, but it doesn't really give you a clue to the text structure. Now that I've seen one characteristic, for example, another characteristic, I know that this must be description. So I'm going to write that here. Your job is to do that for the next 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs. You've got 2 choices. You can pause this video right now, or you can finish it with me. Your choice. Have you ever seen a blue-throated macaw or a bald eagle? If you have, you are very lucky because both of these birds are extremely rare and have at one point in time been on the endangered species list. Both blue-throated macaws and bald eagles are animals that ornithologists or bird experts are working hard to help survive. However, each bird lives in different areas. Blue-throated macaws are native to Bolivia in South America. In contrast, bald eagles are native to North America. Both birds need cover to survive. However, their nests look very different. Macaws create their nests in holes they find in palm trees. In contrast, eagles create their own nests that can be as large as 13 feet and weigh more than 1 ton. I'm thinking that most of this paragraph is talking about how the eagle and the macaw are similar and different. I'm going to look for some transition words. Both. However, that tells me I'm going to learn about a difference. In contrast, again, that tells me I'm going to learn about a difference. See if you can find 2 more. There's actually 3, but I bet you can find at least 2 more. And then the text structure of this paragraph is compare and contrast. Number 3. Like many other kinds of parrots in the wild, macaws are endangered or at risk of dying out. One reason macaws are endangered is that people sometimes kill them for their beautiful feathers or capture the chicks and sell them as pets. However, the major reason that macaws are endangered is because the macaws are losing their homes due to deforestation, the removal of trees and forests. Since macaws depend on holes in trees as shelter, when the forest is cut down, macaws have no place to hide from predators or reproduce, have babies. One solution is to build artificial or fake nests for macaws who have lost their homes to deforestation. To help the population of macaws in Peru, scientists started to build artificial nests out of wood or pieces of plastic pipe. They hung the nests from trees and then watched to see whether the macaws would use them. The scientists were pleased to see that the birds seemed to approve of the fake nests. The macaws use them year after year. Since that discovery, people have begun building similar artificial nests in other areas where macaws are struggling to survive. Of course, the most important solution is to continue to protect forests and trees from deforestation. As I read this, the first paragraph is about a problem, and the second paragraph is about a solution, or how to fix the problem. I'm going to look for some transition words. One reason. It's a transition word. It doesn't really give me a clue, but it's a transition word. However, since, one solution is. That one really gives me a clue. To help, that gives me a clue we're talking about problem and solution. And this, the most important solution. So the text structure of this paragraph is problem solution. Almost there. Macaws have many adaptations, physical features that help it survive in the forest. Macaws' main food source is nuts and seeds. As a result, macaws have a very strong hooked beak. Its beak is perfect for breaking even the toughest nuts and seeds. Another adaptation that macaws have formed is the ability to eat clay, which is like dirt. Consequently, macaws are able to eat foods that are toxic or dangerous to other animals because the clay neutralizes or stops the poisons. A final adaptation that macaws have are brightly colored feathers. Thus, macaws can camouflage themselves from predators in brightly colored rainforests. I'm thinking that this talks about how they have adaptations and what the effect is. So here it talks about how they eat nuts and seeds, and as a result, they have a certain kind of beak. Here it talks about how they can eat clay, and consequently, they can eat more foods than other animals. Here it talks about how they have bright feathers, and the result is that they can hide in rainforests. See if you can figure out what the text structure is. Last one. In the 19th century, the scarlet macaw was a common bird found along the coast of Mexico. In the 1900s, people began to cut down the habitats of the scarlet macaw to make room for farms. Other people began to catch them as pets. By the 1970s, the scarlet macaw was no longer living along the coast of Mexico. In 2010, biologist Patricia Escalante from the Mexican National University decided to help bring the scarlet macaw back to the Gulf of Mexico. She started a breeding program at the university. In addition, she wrote educational materials to teach communities in Mexico about the importance of maintaining macaw habitats and not catching them for pets. In 2014, Patricia Escalante released over 250 macaws in the Gulf of Mexico. By 2016, the population had reached over 500. Environmental activists like Patricia Escalante help the birds like the scarlet macaw continue to live healthy and happy lives. It seems to be telling a story, kind of like a narrative. I'm noticing a lot of transition words that tell me what's happening first, in the 19th century, in the 1900s, by the 1970s, in 2010. See if you can find at least two more, and then figure out what the structure of this paragraph is.